First time seeing Shui on the Junkrat as well. Kent going to be taking up the Widowmaker. That could have easily been the other way around, but I guess Kent's just a better hit scan player out of here. And so it's been reasonably exciting to see what Shui brings to the table against Raya sitting out on the bench for this one. And if Shui does well, maybe for the rest of them too.
Yeah, I mean, especially, even just flatly so far, you compare how this series has gone compared to Machi's first series, which, mind you, was a very hard opening match against Detonator Korea. So perhaps this is more the sort of caliber Machi you're expecting to be for this season. Certainly, they still need to close it out. They need to seal the deal, and Horizon Lunar Colony is where it can start.
And I did forget to mention, but off that one Numbani win, Machi officially onto the board. No more 0-4s. No team is currently sitting winless in terms of maps, so Machi got that going for them, but they're not done. They want more. They want to take Horizon as well. They want to win this match. 3-1 now if possible in Hong Kong Attitude. They want the exact same thing.
Could you blame them? Hong Kong Attitude, though, with this very kind of hard dive top, got their work cut out for them. As I say that, absolutely destroying Kiyomi. Restia forced way, way back from this one. And that leaves Machi in a bit of an unfortunate position here. Restia finally able to start topping himself off.
Still a 5v5 though.
Yeah, and Hong Kong Attitude just kind of looking to punch their way into this one. As they look to get on the back line of Kant, Judo just kind of ducking around this point, not quite finding what he's after. They do at least get a ting, and they've kind of beaten back the tide for now.
And it's going to be Hong Kong Attitude just waiting for their next round of respawners. Kiyomi, sorry not Kiyomi, but Shui having to come back all the way from spawn is going to hurt as well, but not before the Nano Boost comes into play.
Yeah, from Judo, plus the headshot onto a Ting who hadn't quite been able to remech, and I mean, that's Hong Kong Attitude having not quite fully retreated, getting a little bit punished for it.
Nearly onto Riptide is what's going to be quite important. Also equally important is the EMP out of Mui, because that could shut just about everything down. That being said though, Infrasight from Cat could say something about the gameplay from Mui. Hong Kong Attitude sitting at 2 minutes 27, not a single tick, and the movement has been scouted.
Yeah, there you go. Mui is not going to get that sneaky angle in, at least not just yet. And Hong Kong Attitude still kind of looking for how they're going to punch.
They're going to respect this. They're going to wait for this until it's out completely.
There it goes.
You need Mango Jai's Transcendence as well, which is going to be up just about now, but...
Yeah, and there's the other proponent, the other thing they have to kind of deal with here is going to be the Riptide, which could just completely stop this one short.
Finding targets.
Yeah, it goes well wide.
Shui maybe entered with it a little bit early,
there's
but
Mui.
Also maybe a little bit early.
Now they just kind of book it onto the point. Mango Jai having to get a lot of distance covered with that Transcendence just to join the fray. And here's the response tools from Machi. They do get Kiyomi though, and Judo does not get anything with that self-destruct. Shailin ready to go with the play and looking to get onto the back line, but he's damaged out too early. But Mui is still able to do the work that Shailin could not. And this has all been happening off the point, by the way, so Hong Kong Attitude getting a good amount of progress as it is. Now, Mui just sort of looking to clean up the last two members on the point, get the cap over. Not as comfortable as they would maybe like, but it is done.
You needed to see Riptide kills, right? Because that could have been the swing factor for Machi Esports that they'll be kicking themselves for. Not only did they not get any kills from there, but Kant as the defensive Widowmaker, as soon as Hong Kong Attitude went with the EMP, Machi had to back out. Kant lost his sight lines. Nothing was working out for them after that, and Hong Kong Attitude dived on through, took the damage, or rather dealt the damage. Now we're on beat.
Ooh, they don't have any real good defensive tools to keep Mango Jai alive there, and CQB follows pretty shortly after. This is a little bit of an unfortunate usage from Shui though, because the fight was already kind of done before that was committed, so now Machi, aside from that Transcendence, don't really have many tools available.
That being said, they're changing onto Genji, so retooling onto a full dive. That you can at least respect. Getting the final kill out of the Riptide is just kind of a freebie anyway, waiting for Mui now to get another EMP. If you're on the Hong Kong Attitude side, you might just go now though, because you did get a kill.
Yeah, they may as well. They've got a Ting back into the fray, freshly so, and Mui nearly with that EMP. Judo, I think, is going to be able to respawn in time, though, before Hong Kong Attitude can capitalize on that window. Yeah,
and it's the difference, right? I'm of the sort of belief that if Hong Kong Attitude went, they could have charged the EMP mid-fight anyway, but they're going to wait for the EMP, play safe here, should be targeting Kiyomi, because there's a chance if you can kill Kiyomi in that EMP.
Yeah, they don't quite catch him. Yeah, that is unfortunate. That's really the only target they maybe needed, but they did at least get Restia, who they're going to close out on. The self-destruct from a Ting creates the space, but losing their own supports. They're just finding themselves a little bit legless in these situations. Now Machi, their tanks can stall out. That is unless they get hacked. D-Crown not actually committing the Primal Rage, but not needing to, just pulled back to base. But unfortunately, that left Judo high and dry, so Hong Kong Attitude may have actually just got the presence they need. Floyd Q will commit his Primal Rage to stay alive, stay in the fight. Now Shui still kind of looking to get something up and available, not quite going to be able to rejoin the fight here. Hong Kong Attitude, though, haven't had the presence on the point to actually turn this into progress, turn this into a third. They are staying in the fight, but there has got to be a point where if the kills don't come through, they maybe have to consider backing off.
That's going to be right now as well. Mui might just look for a kill with the hack if he can, but because he's spotted out, that's just not going to be possible. Machi had a lot of defensive tools there. The first one, he sort of nano rescue onto D-Crown. Didn't have to primal for the longest time, and even when the nano ran out, then used the primal. There was no way Hong Kong Attitude were going to get any progress while that was happening.
Big sound barrier commitment, but Floyd Q's down to the Dragon Blade of Shui, who is continuing to deal damage on this backline, but now shut down, as is D-Crown. Hong Kong Attitude may have found their opening, even with Floyd Q dead, but good sleep on Shaolin may just kind of change that tune. No, the tanks are in there to keep him alive, and even kill Kiyomi for good measure. Restia throws the boost onto Judo just to buy more time on the point, but he is sure to lose the Smeg. The self-destruct kind of sealing that deal, and no self-destruct of his own to reset.
Oh!
But Kant may have just done it single-handedly. Can you believe it, Kant? Wow. I mean, what was that we were saying about Kant's Tracer?
Don't put me into that. That was just you.
But that's another third not quite attained by Hong Kong Attitude, and this time it was closer than ever. If they're not getting these big shutout fights, they need to at least be getting little bits. They need to get these thirds.
And that's the thing, right? For Machi Esports, they were able to get this Miracle Pulse Bomb out. I will say, though, Hong Kong Attitude, that looked like where they were going to get progress. It looked like they were finally going to be on the board for B, but look, Kant just came out with a huge play. That's a rare thing, though. I'm not expecting Kant to be able to do that every time. You don't expect even the best Tracers to do that every single time. Mui now, almost onto another EMP. This has to be better than his last one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mui so far with the EMPs has not quite had the connection, nor has it quite had the follow-up. Yeah, really, like you said, has to get Kiyomi out of the picture, crucially.
He's got another Transcendence now, Mango with the Coalescence. It's tools, but it might not be enough tools. Here comes the EMP. Kiyomi, instant Transcendence.
Once again, I mean, this is the second time it's not connected. He's getting onto those tanks, but they're just not respecting the Transcendence. Hong Kong Attitude, just the target prioritization has not quite been there. It is unusual, but it's costing them dearly, and now this is just an even kind of fight. Hong Kong Attitude, they need to actually back off here. They don't have time to flounder on the point and get nothing again.
But they've kind of used ultimates here. Look, Kanta's doing a lot. I said he wasn't going to get another Miracle Pulse Bomb. He didn't, but he did get a Pulse Bomb, and that A Pulse Bomb was definitely good enough. Even if Mui's EMP had caught Kiyomi, I mean, the damage was done by Machi Esports. The damage was done even further when Hong Kong Attitude committed other ultimates like the Primal Rage, which they will not get back in 30 seconds that they have remaining.
Very early, very aggressive Nano Blade, and I like it, trying to pile into this room and deal damage out, but does not quite work. They lose Restia, Shui low. Ooh, will be able to back up. Doesn't quite go down, but there's the opening now for Hong Kong Attitude, having drawn some big ultimates out. Big dive on D-Crown. Again, not able to Primal Rage. He will at least be able to re-enter with that tool being a factor, but there is finally that third, and probably a second one as well for Hong Kong Attitude. They can keep getting these kills through. No, they lose a Ting. He's able to reset the mech, though, with the self-destruct. Doesn't get any kills with it, though, but Shailin is keeping the pressure on. Mango Jai has the Coalescence, and they have got that second third. Kiyomi dead once again. D-Crown, he's going to need to get a lot of this Primal Rage, but he can't use it. He's hacked out by the EMP. Mui finally connected the one that he needed, and I think they may have done it at the 11th hour now as the gong rings out. Hong Kong Attitude, after getting nothing for so long, after getting shut down before even getting going, will finally get a cap.
A very similar story to Numbani, right? Because we just saw on Numbani, Point C, Hong Kong Attitude failed that final cap for so long, and then in the overtime they managed to get it. And it just seems like Machi kind of gave it away. This time around, same thing happens. They failed for the longest of times on B. Then finally in the final hour, they did manage to cap it overthrough. But for Machi, you could see the mistakes come out right at the end there. They had a nano boost onto D-Crown. He went in, couldn't really find anything else with that. The fact that they went in with a nano boost onto the Winston, but also then Shui came in with the Dragon Blade, both in the same angle, Hong Kong Attitude already backed out. Hong Kong Attitude respected that. They didn't have to fight into it. Both those ultimates ended up having no impact, and then the EMP came on through right at the end as well. You also noted D-Crown didn't use the Primal Rage first time, he just died with it. Second time, he was in the EMP.
And I wonder if maybe he was hacked the first time, but I mean, even so, how many times, not just here, but in the series as a whole, have we seen D-Crown die with the Primal Rage? I mean, if it's truly that he's been hacked every single one of those times, then that is nothing short of amazing out of Mui, but I doubt that that's the case.
The problem is that's only a stall tool, right? Let's say he did use the Primal Rage, it would have been a stall. The bigger issue is they committed a Nano Boost and a Dragon Blade, not even onto the same thing, onto two different heroes here, and they got no value out of it. So the actual win conditions, the actual ultimates they needed to get value and kills out of, that they got 0 kills out of, that's the real issue here. The fact that you didn't have a Primal Rage from D-Crown on top of it, it's kind of icing on the cake.
And I mean, I liked it in theory out of Machi. They were trying to be proactive. They were trying to, you know, just basically get the team wipe before Hong Kong Attitude could even start the fight, but just a little too early and a little too telegraphed. But that is now in the past, and it's all on how they attack. I'm really liking Mui on the McCree here. Oh, I'm especially liking Shaolin on the Junkrat, funny enough.
It's got to be Machi now in a tough space. Do they wait for Shui? Do they keep pushing on through? They definitely need another kill, but they need to be able to contest Shaolin. But contesting Shaolin means you're not contesting the Mui. So very difficult choices for Machi here. You got to get rid of both threats, but you can't address them both at the same time.
I really liked what Shaolin was doing there. He could have actually been throwing grenades in to deal more damage, but instead he was throwing them on the retreat path, making it hard for Machi to make the decision. But now Machi have regrouped, just looking for another entry.
But they keep regrouping into tight spaces where Shaolin can get a lot of damage done. So what Machi need to do is out-position and out-rotate Hong Kong Attitude, which makes it much more difficult when Restia already goes down. So we're back to square one, back to Machi losing members, and back to them waiting for respawners.
And with a quarter of their time just kind of gone for no gain either, not even really particularly close to ultimates aside from Coalescence. And that Riptide doesn't really care if you've got Coalescence or not.
Shaolin nearly on the Riptide. Yeah, exactly. And I'm kind of concerned that, I'm not concerned, but I'm surprised that he didn't get the Riptide earlier, right? Because he had so much damage before. Machi finally on the point with all 6, but how long will it last?
Yeah, rotation in those. They do actually force Hong Kong Attitude's hand to get aggressive. Hong Kong Attitude not really holding the ground. And actually, Shaolin only just getting a Riptide, and now maybe a bit late. Shui
probably use it.
Pulse Bomb. Yeah, Shaolin taking so long to get that last 10%, 2/3 already. Where is it? It's already dead, and Mui nothing with the dead eye either. Hong Kong Attitude just gave up that ground completely.
That being said though, Shaolin's still trying to do as much damage as he can. Any ultimates you force out now from the side of Machi Esports will be pretty good.
Oh, but he's shut down straight away by Mui. Hong Kong Attitude, I mean, that was bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Like, they kind of gave up the ground there. They did kind of had to. They were respecting that they didn't quite have their ultimates up, and they realized that Machi probably did, but it took them so long to charge up the last of those ultimates.
Now 2/3 already capped on through for Machi Esports. This next attack shouldn't be as difficult as the last ones, especially when Hong Kong Attitude have no ultimates to work with. Machi, got to be pretty aggressive here. There's nothing to really wait for. They got nothing left to lose. They have a lot of time left though. So they don't have a lot of time left at all, actually.
Yeah, especially not with Shui dying. Actually, one kind of cute thing that Machi can be doing here, which is what they were trying to do there, is flank in with Kant and Shui, sit them on the point, and force Hong Kong Attitude to address it, which gives the rest of Machi an opening, but there's risks with that.
At this point, I don't know why Machi aren't just making a full-on dive the sound barrier. Use it early. It's not like you're going to count it up by an EMP. Dive in with it. Don't even have to wait there. You can't get out damage, but now the EMP is still so very far away. Hong Kong Attitude are getting their own ultimates up. Machi had an advantage, and they no longer have that advantage.
I mean, killing Shui is one thing. Killing Kant is another thing. Killing Judo and then killing him just before he remechs. I mean, this is so much time just lost for Machi. They maybe had 2 fights.
That's advantage. Here we go.
That is a big one. They've got to go up that. They've got to commit and capitalize. Even getting CQB. Now the sound barrier in. This is very hard to recover for Hong Kong Attitude. A Ting has to get a mammoth self-destruct here, but he might not even be able to remech. Unfortunately, is Shaolin dead as well, just as the Riptide came up? Yeah, I think that's going to be it here for Hong Kong Attitude. That will be the cap going the way of Machi. Nearly were able to do it, but now just barreling in for B.
Okay, this is going to be a huge Riptide, and it has to be because Machi come in with so much momentum. The snowball is definitely real here. If the Riptide doesn't get kills, this might be a cap on through, and that would be so bad for Hong Kong Attitude.
On top of the slept Kiyomi, but here's the EMP, the response to come in, and they start to capitalize. A team drop down. They're getting these members. There's nothing that Hong Kong Attitude can use to stabilize.
Control.
Having to wait for the respawns, just trying to buy time, not let that second cap go over just yet, that second third. Now they get the members in as the second third comes through. Mui, though, is pressured down on the wrong side. Floyd Q hacked, cannot continue doing the damage. He needs self-destruct in the mix. Nice ultimate from Mango Jai, keeps the team safe, but they're not converting the kills. All they've got is the numerical equality. They catch D-Crown though.
Sound barrier's
there.
big.
The sound barrier is very big, but it might not actually be enough because Hong Kong Attitude's still in this. And Mui able to get back in the fray now with an EMP, commits. Oh, no! Right into Kant's own one, but still staying on the point just barely, but never mind, not quite enough. That was a roller coaster from start to finish. I don't think he or anyone had realized that Kant actually had that EMP back up.
So well played, right? Because if Kant had died at any stage there, he would not have had an EMP in time. Mui, you'd likely think he'd be able to come out and get his own EMP down. Look, whoever got the first EMP in that specific moment would have completed that fight. If it was Hong Kong Attitude, we would have seen Machi having to have a full reset. Sure, they would have kept 2/3 already, so maybe their next attack would have been a lot easier, but now, getting it in one push, especially after how difficult that A was, only barely capping through that A in the final few moments, 22 seconds remaining, or something of the like. 3 minutes and just over 3 minutes worth of time back versus nothing on the side of Hong Kong Attitude. This is not the 2-second difference that we saw in Numbani.
And I mean, there was a point there where it was doable for Hong Kong Attitude. When they'd effectively reset, it was 6 versus 6. The ultimates were neither here nor there, and the frags just came through the way of Machi. That is not what I would have expected out of these two teams in a vacuum. In fact, that is normally where I would expect Hong Kong Attitude to get those frags themselves. So you've just got to flatly credit Machi through and through. They are thoroughly ahead on Horizon Lunar Colony and thoroughly deserve to be.
Now this would be very poor of them if they did not win. 3 minutes and 15 kind of means it's like you failed that first attack on the normal attack, so you got 3 minutes left of this. And now we're in a situation where at worst they will draw, at best they will win.
And a draw would be pretty cushy for them. I mean, it would keep it at that 1-1. The last match would seal it either way. And that really is now the best that Hong Kong Attitude can actually hope for.
And this is the problem, right? Because Hong Kong Attitude capped with no time remaining. They capped, which is why we're in the time bank, but Machi could have full held B. So again, you're in a map where Machi kind of should have probably even have won already, but they got to work for it. Hong Kong Attitude making them work for it.
Yeah, this is again that same play from Machi. Get pressure on the point, force Hong Kong Attitude's hand, and it's paying off once again. Hong Kong Attitude having to assault their own point right now and not finding a way in. A Ting is dead. They're just getting picked apart as they try and trickle on, trying to stay behind Floyd Q's shield while also sticking on the point. It is a tough ask. In fact, it is proving to be an impossible task just about.
He's alive.
He is still alive though, and that means Mui is still in this. As I say that, he goes down. D-Crown still ducking and weaving as they look to surround Floyd Q. The supercharger can come down, but he's kind of the only one here. I'm amazed he stayed alive for so long, and the self-destruct from Judo doesn't quite get the conversion. EMP is in. They're slowly beating back the tide though, Hong Kong Attitude. As I say that, the few remaining members of Machi start piling the pressure back on. The ults come up on rotation. The sound barrier was there. Judo didn't quite die, and they have done it. Match point now to Machi.
This is not where we expected to be this evening right now. Hong Kong Attitude did not expect to be here. Machi, I'll say, actually, maybe they did. They've had these sort of, the new members in the back pocket, they've had a lot of these hidden strengths, and now they're bringing them out. They are winning this kind of more and more convincingly. Like, I'd like to say that Numbani was a very difficult win. Nepal, they were just kind of off there. It was very much more Hong Kong Attitude. Now, coming into Horizon, the difference between 3 minutes 15 and 0 is quite considerable.
I mean, especially when you consider effectively that fight kind of happened in the space of just one push. I mean, you have to consider the small resets that did have to happen after those opening picks, but actually the resets didn't take very long and they got presence very, very quickly after that. And Hong Kong Attitude were in recovery mode the entire time on actually both of their defenses, I have to say. So, I mean, I want to go back to the history between these two teams, and I want to look at it now from a completely different angle, and that is that the last 6 times these teams met, Hong Kong Attitude were winning in increasingly convincing fashion. But new season, new lineups, they're only small things here and there. We felt Floyd Q was looking good, but man, Shui has truly breathed new life into Machi.
He certainly has, and I say Judo has as well. I think for everyone, I want to say Kant has, because you mentioned his Tracer. So first of all, like, he doesn't need that because Sombra's been his main pick anyway, but even when he did play Tracer, it's been impactful. Like, look at that Horizon gameplay. He single-handedly saved that point multiple times. Pulse bombs when just, you would expect, like, okay, Machi, you're going to roll over here. Nope, Kant brings it back in. And the rest of the team just holding their own. This is now in a place where the Machi 3-1 is looking more and more real.
Yeah, and I mean, even 3-2 is still a possibility after that. Hong Kong Attitude, once again, they're kind of the ones in recovery mode. You've got to consider now, you sort of said these last 2 wins have looked better and better each time for Machi, and on the other side of that, Hong Kong Attitude haven't had that map win, unfortunately, since Nepal, their very first one. Now we do see the 4th map once again. Hong Kong Attitude's pick, and they are going to be taking us to Junkertown. So it's got to happen for them here. They've got to tie it up, otherwise that's it.
Aye, Captain, full sails ahead, I say. There's going to be...
You know the difference between saying I and saying I?
No.
Is
Educate me.
Well, I'm about to. I is like a yes. It's like a response. If you say like ensign, and they go aye sir, and then you give them an order, and then I means I have heard and understood your order. So it's like ensign, aye sir, climb the riggings, aye sir. That's how it's used.
Is there a third one? Like does it go?
Aye. Like it's like horn blasts in Game of Thrones. It's like 3 means Rangers returning. Like I can't remember exactly how it works, but it's like I means ghost ship.
oh boy.
I means Davy Jones be a coming.
Let's go straight to Junkertown though before we get any further.
Because it's also Australians. They'd be like aye.
It just turns into oi oi, like oi oi instead, yeah. Ghost ship be a coming. Davy Jones ahead.
Mate, ghost ship. Can't eat your ghost chips.
Crikey, Davy Jones.
Davo.
It's Davo ahead.
It's old Jonesy, mate.
Oh,
he's back.
My goodness.
Oh, man.
We've taken this to a new height, indeed. Cool me down after that, all right.
Yeah, I'm actually having to fan myself off. I'm working up a sweat for
too pleased, way too pleased for that.
And now if we don't see a pirate ship, this is all going to have been for naught.
Wow, that would suck.
After so much effort. But yeah, it does actually look like Hong Kong Attitude going to look to set up a pirate ship, so thank goodness. Full steam ahead.
Is it a steam pirate ship, is it? Oh, we're getting ahead.
Well, it can be. I mean, there were pirates in you know, in the Age of Steam. Still a thing.
But in the Age of Overwatch, it's Shui catching Milwi in a classic little trap. Should give Judo, who's, by the way, on Widowmaker, we haven't seen that before, Judo a little bit of space to work with. Oh, boy! See you later.
Yeah, dropped down, and hey, yeah, plenty of space to work with there for Judo. Apparently enough to pop Mango, and that was that classic Halt Hook combo.
Excuse the technical... Oh, here we go. We are back right into that action. Hopefully we didn't miss anything. Didn't miss any of the sailing action going on there. Mango, though, he might have to consider not playing any more Bastion. First of all, he doesn't have the ult charge, so it's not like he's really invested into staying, but most importantly, the cart is out of the attacker's control here, so it's just not what you want.
They've got to get some picks to actually get set back up, but hey, there's one getting decrowned. But Mango Jai does once again. This time, though, CQB can actually raise him back up. And with the hit on Kant, that is exactly what I'm expecting to happen. Yeah, there you go. And they can actually get back on the payload. That was pretty risky for them to commit again to the pirate ship, but it's paid off.
I might see a Dragon Strike pretty soon. Shailin has hit a ton of shots. The mid-air shot into Shui, like Shui went down with like 10 HP. That was absolutely disgusting. And now the final shot, if there's any defense that Machi want to show here, the Dragon Strike will 100% come out.
Yeah, this is a pirate ship that also has dragons. It's like an Eastern pirate ship. And now committing in with the Valkyrie as well. Rez is there on Judo, but immediately Kant drops anyway. Oh, what a catch on the Judo. And they're just drilling down Machi. Very little resistance, unfortunately, being put up, aside from the pick on Shailin that instantly gets Rez.
And that's the thing, right? Because the few picks that Machi have been able to get Hong Kong Attitude have completely counteracted with CQB's Rez. Mango Giant still, though, waiting for that first tank form to come out into play. The rest of the ultimate's already in effect. I mean, look at this positioning right here. Most defenders want to be here, but as an attacker, this is just as good, in fact, even better.
I mean, this is exactly what you want to see them pulling off as well. You know, you get that full wipe that late on A. You have free reign to set up this position, to move the cart for free, already kind of halfway through. And yeah, by Restia, it's actually Machi trying to attack the attackers right now and losing Kant as well. I don't even know if they really have an option.
The cart is already so far through. Hong Kong Attitude in the best possible place. Machi Esports, I don't think they have an option here. Okay, there's a hook, so maybe.
They've got to get, like, they have to attack to stop this payload here, and doing so will immediately put them vulnerable to Mango Jai, who also still has
Dragon Strike.
Ultimate. Yeah, here comes another Dragon Strike. Sweeps right across them, combined with the tank form. That's a pretty clean sweep there. Machi have a couple of members just kind of limping about this point, but Mango Jai being untouched is what is defining this fight here. Should just be a matter of time before they can get back on the payload and finish the job.
Just too many ultimates coming out of Hong Kong Attitude. Too much already just positioning that they're just waiting in there for. Mango Jai just signing off the victory as well, as the cart just cleanly goes on over through 4 minutes and 45 seconds is a ton of time going into C. They still have ultimates, no reason to swap off the pirate ship so far. It's been working, and it might just keep working.
But how many times have we seen things grind to a halt on point C?
Rocky Shores.
Yeah, not just on Junktown, but also between these two teams earlier on Numbani. So Hong Kong Attitude, they still have a lot to do here before it's sealed.
The EMP is the biggest factor, right? Because the EMP can shut down the entire pirate ship, and Mui and Shailin are just scraping, challenging each other for kills. They both want to decrown there, and Machi just waiting to get in. Finally with the EMP, though, you'd think now has to be the time.
I mean, now or indeed never, you've got to dislodge this Bastion at least once, right? And already he's just set up around the corner, covering all the sightlines if he can so help it.
There it is.
There it is. There's the connection, but where's the follow-up? Kant and Shui are already too low to really do it, and CQB has a res anyway. Judo and Kant going down. They catch CQB, but Mango has something else to say about it. There goes the tank mode out, just looking to drill down with the damage. Doesn't actually get it, going down to Shui there, but there's still the rest of these members still doing the damage. I've never seen a Hanzo this close to a payload, at least not in my games. And already Hong Kong Attitude rotating into the other ultimates, but Shui may have something else to say about it. No, not in time! And that means it got channeled out as well. Shui, nice use of the Dragon Blade, and maybe Shailin ought to have held on to that.
And just when Shailin, look, Shailin has been doing reasonably good across the entire map so far as a Hanzo, and in those final moments he missed a ton of shots. If any of those had connected, he could have just shot out that Dragon Strike. He wouldn't have cared if he died, because it seems like he wants to change anyway, which is appropriate in Hong Kong Attitude. They've been forced off the pirate ship, and that means a full compositional swap.
Yeah, and that's really how you can start to stop up that sort of offense. This is how it can start to grind to a halt for Hong Kong Attitude. Just kind of jostling about for now.
At the same time, though, Machi Esports, they lost their attack ultimates. They have some defense ultimates. This is where they need to get a lot of time. They need to burn another minute, another 1 minute 30 off the clock for Hong Kong Attitude, as Hong Kong Attitude are in that ultimate rebuilding phase.
Self-destruct, didn't find anything in Judo, died. A Ting may even be able to remech, actually, with the rate that this is going. The resin on Judo, and he will be able to remech, but by the time he does, so much of the team will have already been taken out of the picture. The only trade backs they've really had were Floyd Q. Catching CQB is pretty nice, but Machi's still losing members. However, with the closer respawns and Hong Kong Attitude's lack of presence on the cart, they haven't turned this into progress, at least not yet.
Not yet is about right, but they are now starting to get, so I think not yet is about over, because this has got to be it for Hong Kong Attitude. Ultimate's coming online. They're past the rebuilding phase now. Can't already use the EMP. Didn't get enough out of it. Mui's turn to show him how it's done, and that could be the EMP to finish the entire game, because they're so close now to capping through.
It's not like Machi really have anything here. Mui can just kind of stroll on in and commit. It catches just about everyone. Self-destruct also for the zoning tools in there. Now they just need to get rid of these tanks. Working overtime to heal them up. Restia really putting in the hard yards. And Floyd Q, though, doing the same on that front line right about now as he is getting the kills through onto the back line. Valkyrie soon to run out here for Restia. Back on the ground, will be able to get a res in on Kiyomi, but they're still behind a member, Shui. He's got to make it happen, and it so far has happened between him and Kant. Now Mui taken out of the picture as well, and the stabilization just barely coming through for Machi.
And the ultimate's coming through. Restia is the big hero of that one. He didn't get caught in the EMP, which means he comes out with the Valkyrie, heals everyone straight back up. Had to hold out long enough for Shui to get a Dragon Blade as well, but when he did, it signals the retreat of Hong Kong Attitude. And what was so close is now so far. 46 seconds remaining, but no ultimates.
It is really against the wall here, indeed, for both of these teams, right? I mean, you don't want to not complete the defense at this point of your Machi, given how hard you have worked to stop up the momentum on point C. But Hong Kong Attitude, same thing.
The cut?
Yeah, oh, no way. Ooh, someone comes back to stop it. Mui ducks out in the nick of time.
That was a hard stopper right there, and Machi, you have to make sure it doesn't happen again. Kant's looking for the EMP targets again. Got to look for it before Mui does. If they can shut Mui down, we're going to have Horizon Lunar Colony a repeat all over again.
Yeah, but Mui really needs to get that EMP up. There's Kant's one double coalescence.
Mui.
Crossing streams, but it's Shui with the closeout, showing up once again. And no one on the payload. It will not make that last lick of distance.
That is going to be Hong Kong Attitude's, unfortunately, worst attack so far of the evening, because they have completed the map on Numbani, they completed the map on Horizon Lunar Colony, but have now failed to do so on Junkertown after what was an incredibly dominant A and B. On A, they just walked on through. Okay, the first part was a little hard, but afterwards they walked on through. On B, it was all there. Machi didn't even come to B. They barely showed up, but then they just couldn't finish the map. That is really sad.
And the thing that's really tough in this as well is, look, attack aside, it's the defense from Hong Kong Attitude that has been lackluster on Numbani and Horizon Lunar Colony both, and in both situations it cost them the map. That is what really needs to be changed here if Hong Kong Attitude are going to draw this one up. You know, regardless as to whether or not they could cap out C if they had, you know, played a bit better or things had gone different. It's all on the defense.
This is going to be so tough now. You can really start to feel the pressure that Hong Kong Attitude have here. They must know it as well, because again, they know they've capped out all the other two maps, but they've failed to do this one, so they're going to have to be forced to do, I guess, kind of what One Shine had to do earlier, and just they have to hold onto Egg. Like, it has to happen here, or it doesn't happen at all. You can definitely see Machi finishing all the way, and if they do, well, it's a 3-1, and it's starting to look just more and more likely.
And it looks like Machi don't need no boat. Looks like they're just going to try and swim this one out.
Land lovers, all of them.
Yeah, which is a shame because, you know, I had a song ready to go. So,
oh, well, we'll have to wait for the next Junkertown.
What if we just don't see any more Junkertown?
Well, I also wouldn't, then we don't have to hear the song, and I wouldn't have, you know, that's okay for me.
Come on. You know you'd love it. But they are just going to come out the gate with something a little bit different. In fact, Shui going back onto the Genji as well, having scouted out with Hanzo. No Bastion in sight.
And no combo off the Halt as well. The chain part of the ball and chain combo not going to land for either sides for that matter.
Canda's well ahead in terms of this ultimate here, but the kills come through for Hong Kong Attitude. Shaolin is really going to be the X factor of this defense, I feel.
Look at Ting though; he's leading the charge on the Hong Kong Attitude side, and this needs to be the big defense. And note they're holding reasonably far forward too. We're not actually at the kill box just yet, which is very important for Hong Kong Attitude. It means they still have fallback distance. They can still go backwards and have other places to be. Oh. Nice headshot into Kiyomi.
Yeah, hadn't unfortunately spotted him out just yet, but hey, Kant answers one back. It's only an answer though. it's not exactly... Yeah, and I mean, already rezzed in anyway, so it's still Hong Kong Attitude with the lead. And once again, Mui, who's like, hey, you shoot me, I shoot you back.
You and me now.
It's personal. It's personal.
And look, the Res already came out as well, so it's not like Kent was going to come back on that one. Both Widowmakers going to get in for a slate at roughly the same time, but unfortunately for Machi Esports, it's Hong Kong Attitude going to get all the other ultimates much sooner than Machi Esports. You can see possibly a big snowball in terms of defense. Nice hook as well.
Oh, not quite getting the closeout. Now Shui gets to go to town on all these squishy members. No such luck, finally getting shut out there, having only got a couple, and Shailin with the Riptide, even getting Kiyomi. Might not have even been necessary, but they do have another hold.
It's 6 ultimates used for Hong Kong Attitude that they really wanted that hold. You can see how much they're investing into this defense. If you're Machi right now, you know, or you should know, that Hong Kong Attitude just got cleaned out. So, Kiyomi with the Transcendence could be pretty good. They have to know they're at advantage.
And it's the only ultimate they have, but it's plenty enough. Hong Kong Attitude not pulling back quickly enough as a Ting dropped Shailin as well, followed up by the divers on the front line, and Hong Kong Attitude did not pull back to that kill box position quickly enough. You saw them start making the move, but Machi, they knew they had that advantage. Hong Kong Attitude could have already been there before Machi had even finished the respawns, and now they pay for it.
And now you kind of wish you didn't use 6 ultimates either. You wish you had a little bit more in the bank to use right now, because this is where it really counts. 1 minute 25 is not impossible for Hong Kong Attitude to come back in, especially since they killed Kant already. A 6v5 is definitely winnable, but they got to come out.
Yeah, they've actually got to get the presence on the payload. No one's on it still, and it's moving forward inexorably.
No one.
Finally getting onto it with that Emphasite out, and already Shailin taking out Kiyomi. Mango Jai, though, may just get traded out. No, barely staying alive. Finally goes down, but while Shui was busy with that one, the rest of his team was getting killed out from underneath him. Judo throwing out a self-destruct just to at least preserve the mech. Not going to get any kills for it. Does remech, but now that's just more ult charge back over to Hong Kong Attitude, who sorely need it.
Certainly is. And for Hong Kong Attitude, it's still a hard defense, right? Because they don't have good positioning here. They have to hold reasonably far back, which means Machi have a lot of approach angles they can take advantage of, an EMP and a Dragon Blade, which they can take advantage of.
Oh, nice timing on the Transcendence, though, in just beforehand. But Shui doesn't really care, does not care in the slightest. Carves up the members of Hong Kong Attitude, just no responses, and even a headshot of Mango for good measure. Shui, when he decides to go, just goes.
And master of the long-range shurikens as well. Got to go back to Nimpani, just that massive ult charge long range. Look at this now, moving up very far forward, looking for those opening picks. Another thing Hong Kong Attitude, well, not the Hong Kong Attitude, but Machi can do is kind of set up that more forward offense, try and now anticipate where Hong Kong Attitude will come from. Stop them from getting this defense set up, because there's not a lot of ultimates, just the one out of Shailin.
One thing going for Hong Kong Attitude here, unfortunately failing to hold on A. They did at least run out a lot of time, so it's doable, but they have just seen it kind of slip through their fingers on A, and if it happens as well on B, then
Shailin?
Liz looking for an angle, looking for a pulse bomb, looking for something, looks for a Kiyomi and finds him. Self-destruct as well out of a Ting. Oh, wow, that's going to stop that one up.
Machi Esports forced to get the full reset now. Look, if Machi do cap out B, they won't have a lot of time to get to C. So for Hong Kong Attitude, this suddenly becomes so much more winnable. Note that Hong Kong Attitude got to C with about 4, I think 4:30 remaining, something pretty impressive like that. I don't expect Machi, in fact, Machi cannot get that kind of time now. So whatever Machi do get, it's less.
Yeah, but of course, do not mistake winnable with 1. We have seen Hong Kong Attitude in that position where it should have been by rights winnable and not got over the line, and already losing a Ting's mech. Machi, they had the ultimate advantage, but yeah, Pick on Kant kind of changes that tune, and now Mui may actually beat him to an EMP, but the dive pressure is still just insurmountable. Hong Kong Attitude not able to top the members. Oh, D-Crown showing up on the dive. Yeah, they didn't even lose too much time on that one, and I don't think Hong Kong Attitude can really muster another defense before C.
They might want to, though, because they want to get some extra ultimates out of Machi. How Machi can win right now is, despite not having a lot of time, they have snowball pressure, they have momentum, EMP is huge, all the other ultimates are huge. We've seen what Shui can do already on the blade. And they should be going for it. I agree with this completely.
In early with a Ting, there's the EMP out plus a self-destruct from Judo. So yeah, these are those ultimates that Hong Kong Attitude wanted to get out. But actually, better yet, they've weathered the storm. They commit with their own EMP, and they've killed Shui, who committed a Dragon Blade. Hong Kong Attitude might just turn this one right on its head. Machi committed everything. Hong Kong Attitude went, hold on, we're still alive. Let's go. And they do. And it's working. 20 seconds on the clock now as Machi get picked apart on what was nearly their push through.
And this is a problem. You even have a late stagger here as well. I mean, Judo's not going to be able to join them for this final engagement. 5 members have to run in now to try and touch this card. Hong Kong Attitude have a lot of space to play with. And Machi, this could be it. We may be seeing him at 5.
Kanjin Shui just booking it to the point, and that means Shui has had to go onto the Tracer. They have the full rack of respawns, but they are not in full force just yet. A Ting trying to cut off the legs, doesn't get anything with the self-destruct. Hong Kong Attitude not out of the woods yet, even as they catch Kiyomi. And Shui, man goes down though. It's not done just yet, and the tank's joining the fray, but there's no one they're tanking for. The members are all dead, and nothing short of an amazing self-destruct will do it here for Machi. The EMP once again from Mui to knock those tanks down for one last time, and I think they are going to do it indeed as they crack down on these last few members. We're going to a game 5.
2-in-1 evening as well. Oh man, what a treat! What a treat indeed. This series has absolutely delivered. We kind of came into this thinking Hong Kong Attitude surely must be favored here, but right now, even if Machi go to map 5 and lose, we said this earlier about One Shine, but getting those 2 maps is so important, and somebody's got to pick them up now. Mui had a crazy good series, by the way, on that on the Widowmaker. In fact, that exchange between him and Cat, the Widowmaker versus Widowmaker, was such a great battle.
Oh man, not only is this game 5 a treat, I also think it is just absolutely fitting for these two teams. I mean, this really sets the scene for, if you will, the new iteration of the rivalry between these two. I mean, we talked a lot about...
That's a real rivalry,
yeah, exactly.
Right? Whoa.
I mean, we talked a lot about the history between these two teams, but it really was just history, It was only a rivalry in the sense that, there were times at which one had been, above the other and blocked them out of a playoffs run, but that's only in standings. It's not necessarily in the actual matches and the head-to-heads, but yeah, now it is really a rivalry in terms of the game performance and everything. Yeah. And I think, crucially, it kind of wipes the history away. It washes it clean and sets the precedent that, this is the new story between these two teams.
And it means, for A as well, it's not all said and done. I specifically said that Hong Kong Attitude are a lock-in for top 4. In fact, a lock-in for top 3. After this, I'm not too sure anymore. Machi look like they could be up there. Group A is now possibly as open as Group B is. Who is actually going to make playoffs? It's so unclear now. I also just want to say, for a team like Hong Kong Attitude, they struggled in those middle 2 maps. Coming back here, you look at what they did on Nepal. Remember that play they made where they lost both tanks, they came back and they won anyway. We said, a little bit weird, but they made it work and they found the right call and they made that call happen. Again, on Junkertown, they came in. The worst case scenario was probably that they lose the fight, but they still force ultimates out of Machi. That's still a big win. The best case scenario is actually they just full hold right there.
Right? Yeah. I mean, just on the whole, this is such an incredible place for this match to end up getting taken to, because the other thing that now becomes a factor is, of course, that Nepal win for Hong Kong Attitude, because we go back to Control. Look, it's a bit of a different thing, and I'm not trying to say, oh, Hong Kong Attitude are just better at Machi than Control, but they did get the map win on Control, and that could be the difference. In fact, that's been the difference in many of these full 5s. The same team has won both Controls, and you can very much see that being the difference here for Hong Kong Attitude as we take it to our tiebreaker map of Oasis.
Didn't think we'd be here twice in one day, but here it is. I'm going to start things out on Gardens as well. So much we could still see here. It's going to be Shui now back onto the fire. The last time we saw this was actually Nepal, so the second time Shui gets to be on fire, maybe this time it'll be better for them. Cat on the Sombra as well. The only sort of big difference here is, well, Shylin wants to play Tracer.
And I do like the Shui Farah, but I kind of want to see him back on the Genji just because it's gone to such great effect. The Genshui, Genshui, if you will.
Shui Blade. There's so much mileage you can get out of this thing.
There's so much you could say about this man. Shui. He's really a phenomenal Farah player. A phenomenal DPS.
Yet to be seen though, we'll see if he's a phenomenal power play because he didn't have much time on the pole.
Yeah.
He might have a little bit more time here. There's only real competition as Mui, and Mui already takes down the ground, so the action has indeed begun for the Hong Kong Attitude side of things.
Yeah, and now just trying to pressure out Judo, and by extension, Shui, who goes down to Mui. And I can almost not say that without slipping into a Sean Connery voice now. What have I done to myself? But it is now the full wipe coming through just about for Hong Kong Attitude. Some very late kills coming through as well.
And importantly, Mui with the first EMP. The other big thing, look, we've seen Mui and Kent go at it in terms of Widowmaker versus Widowmaker. The Sombra versus Sombra has been just as interesting because we've had times now when one Sombra coming with the earlier EMP stopping the other one has been a game-winning play. That's been a deciding play. So now with Mui, we get to sit and for briefly watch the EMP if it finally does come out.
And straight on top, but Kant unfortunately doesn't close out, and Mui goes down for it. Clutch sound barrier from Restia. Now Kant can answer back. Also having drawn the coalescence out of Mango Jai, so Machi, big
Shaolin. Shaolin's so close to dying there, but not quite. Floyd Q in the middle of the prime rage. But his kill's coming up for Hong Kong Attitude, so we're still not seeing the EMP. There it is.
Finally, but Kiyomi's now dead. All they've really got for that is Floyd Q, but it's going to have been enough. The tanks and DPS just drilling down the damage, getting to follow up. Oh, that is a really, really badly timed sound barrier out of CQB. Way too
only
late.
a 3-man as well.
Yeah, I mean, it bought more time on the point, so I guess they're happy enough with that, but they are going to have lost the point by the end of it, giving away a lot more ult charge.
Certainly have indeed lost that point up, but I think they only got like, what, an extra 10% maybe? They'll have to consider that if that 10% was really worth it at the end of the day. Wow, Judo and Machi, they're not done, man. They're still looking for kills here. Eventually, they got to respect the respawners coming out of Hong Kong Attitude. Don't want to overstay your welcome here. And Machi Esports, despite all of that, they're not really hit in terms of ultimates or anything else. This first coalescence has to be the game changer because they got nothing else to play with.
Well, Mui coming into that EMP once again. I think that actually should be the kind of key tool in this one, and going to have it up very, very quickly. And if they can rotate into some key ults after that,
laser beams.
Good standing. Yeah, laser beam battle. It's double coalescence, but the EMP committed now. Machi though, kind of striking first blood, if you will, but the hit back from Hong Kong Attitude is harder, at least so far. That being said, Machi not giving it up easy, and now rotating into some of their own ultimates.
Not giving up at all. Look at the sound barrier.
And now they've got the EMP at their disposal. Hong Kong Attitude just getting beaten back. They didn't have the tanks left on the front line, unfortunately. And that's just a lot for really no gain.
And again, just Judo just pushing Hong Kong Attitude out, cleaning up the late kills. EMP ready for Kent. Like you already said, Mui used his one earlier. It was good because it cancelled out Kiyomi, but for Mango Jai and his coalescence, Hong Kong Attitude didn't get enough mileage, already overtaking now Hong Kong Attitude's own progress. This EMP could be the game winner. Both tanks caught.
They've got the defensive tools as well, those all the ultimates, and indeed both tanks. They do get a sound barrier endo, which saves Void Q, who does as well have a primal rage, but they need to get a lot more kills than that. Getting Kant is a good way to go, but they've got to close out even more, and still tools in the back pocket of Machi when push comes to shove. But the coalescence from Mango Jai and a hack here onto D-Crown. Unfortunately, it wasn't in time to stop the primal rage, but the damage has done plenty enough instead. 99% up for Machi, but it's looking like that is as far as they will get for now. Judo, actually, he was hacked. I was going to say smart to hold on to the self-destruct, but yeah, either way, you wouldn't have wanted to use it.
Big difference maker there was the fact that Mango Jai got another coalescence, still waiting for Kiyomi to get his one back. The other thing is, Kant, while he was in the middle of that fight, he translocated up into the air, landed down and died straight away, so he couldn't get away from the action. He died pretty early, and now it's Mui's turn to get an EMP done.
He's
gonna live, yeah, he's gonna live.
Oh, Kant following up, closing out on Mui is big, and Mango as well. And you were saying, nearing that that coalescence rather, and Hong Kong Attitude just don't really have the tools to turn this one back around. Very in from Restia, another one. Shui finds Shaolin, and a Ting, he's got to get a massive self-destruct here, and then still actually preserve his mech. But
good counter.
Oh wow, the double EMP, but Mui did at least get the damage down. A Ting, I don't think he got a chance to self-destruct there, and this is looking rough for Hong Kong Attitude, you've got to say, even as they push it to 99%, Machi just dealing more damage, getting those one versus one wins here and there. Kant on Mui, Shui on Xiaolin, and it turns back into a cap their own way, which will be them in a moment, I'm sure, striking first blood on Oasis.
Well, they need to be. Hong Kong Attitude still have less members here, but if Hong Kong Attitude can get some trades, they might be able to pull things back.
It's not going to happen.
So.
Yeah.
There's no trades, and the counter-intelligence play by Sombras from either side has been so critical. It's Kant getting that hack onto Mui, killing him before the EMP comes down, then his own EMP when both of them went in there. It was Kant's EMP who cancelled out the sound barrier coming from CQB on the Hong Kong Attitude side. That was so big from Machi Esports.
Already Machi wanting to kind of change the tune of what happened on Nepal. It did end up going the way to Machi though, that very first point on Nepal anyway, so not quite out of the woods yet, but they are now just one map win away from at last clinching the series, getting their first win against Hong Kong Attitude in nearly 8 months.
It's a long time to wait to get revenge, by the way, but Machi, look, it'll taste so sweet when and if they finally get it. They're so close. Match point. They're finally at match point again. You would not want it to slip through your fingers this time.
But neither would Hong Kong Attitude. They do not want that tarnish on their win record against this team, but they're going to have to fight for it. And they're going to have to make some adjustments to their team comp as well, which gives the cap over to Machi. So now Hong Kong Attitude already kind of on the back foot, at least in terms of progress.
It's not where you want to be if you're the team behind as well when Machi are threatening to take away the entire series. It's been a long series and Hong Kong Attitude don't want to walk away with a loss. Mui though, close to the EMP, close-ish.
Oh, Xiaolin able to take out the Junkrat, and the dive is solid out of Hong Kong Attitude. The only casualty is Ating's mech. The cap back in pretty convincing fashion.
Almost anyway, just about there, 25% you'll take it. For Machi Esports as well, we gotta go back to the Sombra matchup. Look, the first Sombra that gets the better EMP, hopefully catching the other one, is gonna set the standard for this fight. That's exactly what's going to happen. If Cat gets both Mui or either Mui and Mango Jai, that could be devastating.
Ating reset his mech really late. That's why Hong Kong Attitude backed off the point. They commit the EMP, but Floyd Q's already dead. They take out Kant though, so there is no counter EMP play to come in, and Mango Jai committing the Transcendence. They need to actually close out these kills though, or this won't count for much for Hong Kong Attitude. Just kind of having to loop back around, trying to look for the angle. Machi opting to just pull back and regroup for now. And
that's fine because they got 2 big ultimates out of Hong Kong Attitude. That one is a little bit less fine. You don't really want to have to wait for D-Crown. You're going to be forced to wait for D-Crown now. Kent is just, he wants to get this EMP underway. There's not going to be a trance to counter it. There's not even going to be a sound barrier. No counter intelligence from Mui either. It's all Machi. It has to be Machi coming in and winning this fight. They just have so many tools. It would be ridiculous for them not to get it.
Mango Jai going to go back over to that Moira. And Ating getting pressured out the side. Sound barrier in from rest here. Machi already looking good in this fight. Floyd Q though could stall out with a Primal Rage here. Indeed should be able to. As Mui gets panned. Xiaolin pulling his weight. Maybe it's taken him all series to finally warm up, but this is Xiaolin as we know him. Firing on all cylinders as he headshots Judo. And at 80% Machi, they're out of time.
Never count out ridiculousness in Overwatch, I guess. For Hong Kong Attitude, that's at least true. Shutting down Kent, stopping the EMP from coming through. It didn't even matter. Look at all the ultimates that Machi had. They couldn't cap. They couldn't win the team fight. And now Hong Kong Attitude themselves just ready to win.
And Can still looking for the entry. Mui may well just get his own EMP up, and if Can dies once again, it's going to be about as bad as things could possibly go for the squad. Looking for the angle in. Hack onto Void. Mango over the edge. That's rough. Mui needs the EMP to come out. He's pressured low, as is Kant. But Mui, it looks like he's the casualty. Indeed he is, as the coalescence rather out of Kiyomi. Quick flip from Machi. Hong Kong Attitude just want to peel back for now, like an onion, and wait. Come in one more time. They have the 99%. They only need one fight.
Let's see what's behind those layers as well, as they got a couple tools here. Mui, CQB, Mango Jai falling off the edge, but back with the coalescence. Both Sombra is still holding onto the EMP, but Machi got to win so many more fights. Machi need at least like 2, maybe 3 fight wins to be able to secure this Hong Kong Attitude. Just the one.
Just looking for the entry. Mui looking for the EMP. There it goes out, and they pile onto decrowning Kant before Kant's own EMP can come out. That is about as convincing as it gets. It's like these two teams are just trying to outdo each other for most slam-dunked fight win.
Yeah, this
should be the last one.
It's not going to be enough people, right? That had to be. Machi had to throw everything into that one. They knew they couldn't lose it. We are really going the full distance on this one. And look, Hong Kong Attitude just composed. They knew what they had to do. They knew they only had to win one. Didn't panic there. Didn't lose their composure. And now Machi got to feel like they're on the back foot. Look, we are at the point now where you still just feel like, first of all, you feel like anyone could take it, but you also feel like the team that doesn't take it, it's just the worst feeling in the world. You're so invested into this. You're in the final map of a full best-of-5 series. Both teams have traded match points. And we're finally here. I can't even call it.
It's so intense. I mean, the only point of comparison you've got is Nepal. You've got to go back to it. The first one was close, but the second one was all Hong Kong Attitude. And then the third one was just barely able to go their way. But Machi's still keen to change that tune. And this is where they've got to make it count.
They're playing the same heroes as well. The first cap on this is going to be huge. Whoever gets the first cap, and that's true for most other maps, but especially for City Center, whoever gets it is going to be way, way, way ahead.
Just big pressure from both sides, but Kant maybe on the wrong side of this. Indeed he is, as a team gets the bump. Now Hong Kong Attitude should be able to get themselves on the point with the numerical superiority. And like you said, that first cap over could be the key one. But fights always last so long here. Machi not giving it up just yet, backing off, going back in. No, now it's going to go the way of Hong Kong Attitude.
The worst part is because Kant was the one that died, Mui so far ahead onto EMP. That's a deciding factor of this game. It doesn't matter that both Mango and Kiyomi have coalescences. The EMP from Mui will cancel Kiyomi out. That's a big factor. Shui has to get a Miracle Pulse Bomb. We've seen Miracle Pulse Bombs out of Machi Esports earlier, but that was out of Kant. Now the time starts ticking. Coalescence out.
Yeah, no connect from Shui with that Pulse Bomb. No miracles today, at least not just yet. I mean, he pulled off some earlier, but he will not be canonized the Saint for that one. And it is Hong Kong Attitude just kind of getting the key moments, key kills in there. Shui over onto the Genji.
That's what we like to see. You mentioned this at the start of Oasis. We need to see the Shui Blade, the Genji, the Gen Shui even on Hong Kong Attitude. You have to wonder how much percentage can they milk out of this one. For Machi Esports, how much percentage are they willing to give away? Whoever gets the first EMP, it sounds like a broken record, is going to be able to get a huge advantage. And so far, in this series at least, it's been Mui.
And there he is again, right onto these backliners as they pop Kiyomi. And Restia, it's all they're going to get for now, though. D-Crown should be able to back away. Shui, though, may not be so lucky. No, he is just barely going to be able to get out. So, fairly well mitigated there from Machi. And now, oh, that's a late death.
Yeah, he's not lucky, I guess. Luck not with him. We're about to get to 99%. I fully believe Hong Kong Attitude will get to 99% before Machi can cap it over. And this is the kind of advantage you get. City Center is notorious for this.
And now Machi has to get that big, big EMP, the juicy one, the full 5, the full 6 even. And just looking for the angle in, trying to get onto the back liners. They may not need it though, because they've already popped a ting. And actually Hong Kong Attitude may just be willing to let this one go over to Machi, given that they push it into those 90s. But they didn't get ultimates out of Machi aside from the coalescence. That's not the ideal way to let the cap go over.
It certainly isn't, and we didn't quite get to 99, but 97, you'll take it. It's just as close. Hong Kong Attitude saved 4 ultimates of their own. Machi about to hit 5, so still, you know, it's hard to call this one. You'd think Machi should take it because Machi have the EMP. That being said, if Mui hacks out Kant too early, you won't see the EMP. And if you don't see the EMP, you might not see Machi win.
They need to use that. They need to rotate through these ultimates. And they need to keep Mui shut down. There it is in from Kant. They need to get the conversion.
Barrier.
Shui with the blade. But yeah, the sound barrier. They finally get Floyd Q. Shui has to put the blade away, having found next to nothing with it. Aside from a little bit of damage, a few love taps here and there. That was not cheap for Machi, but it was also not cheap for Hong Kong Attitude, who haven't exactly got progress themselves here.
The good news for Machi is, usually in this case, it's a huge failure because you didn't charge other ultimates. But in this specific case, Machi had those other ultimates anyway. Look, they got 4, the 4th one coming up from Kiyomi. So the fact that the EMP and the Blade were failures, it doesn't matter for this case because Hong Kong Attitude back out regardless, and you still have tools.
But Hong Kong Attitude have perhaps the Swiss Army knife of tools. They have the EMP, and that could just negate everything Machi has. They already lose Shui. That's not a good start for them. They're going to have to commit ultimates to recovery mode now as the EMP connects Kiyomi down. There's the sound barrier. At least Can needs to get a really big EMP, but T-Crown's dead. Couldn't use that Primal Rage once again, and it looks like Machi are just going to all fall down. They are sick and tired of your Hong Kong Attitude, but they just can't handle it. And finally, Hong Kong Attitude complete the 2-1, complete the 3-2. They complete the string of dominance over now their longtime rivals, Machi Esports. But that is the tightest these two teams have been in a year.
Felt like a long time coming as well. You always just ever so slightly favored Hong Kong Attitude, but you wanted to believe, I wanted to believe, and Machi wanted to believe that they could take them out, and I think they can take that belief into the rest of the season, into the rest of the round robin as well, because man, if you can do that to Hong Kong Attitude, you can do that to just about everybody, and if the next team comes on and they are not as tight as Hong Kong Attitude, you better believe Machi will win.
It is new year, new Machi. Like I said, Shui seems to have truly breathed new life into this team, but it was just not quite enough to overcome Hong Kong Attitude, who they have now failed to beat 7 times in a row. Unfortunately, this was a very, very close one, but they may just get another chance later on down the line if these two teams do make playoffs and then meet in playoffs. Hong Kong Attitude going to collect another set of handshakes. Machi, I do have to agree with you there, my friend. They could well still make it. I mean, based off that, if you are slightly less clean than Hong Kong Attitude, you lose to this Machi lineup. However, if you're just clean enough, then maybe Machi still don't quite make it because they do sit with 2 losses and only 2 map wins in recovery of that.
And I think Chaos Theory and Bazaar are going to be shaken just a little bit out of that. Machi are now a real threat. Like, you know, you thought, okay, Machi, they're fighting for 4th, but, you know, who knows if they'll really make it.
Let's be real, they came into this as the weakest of the returning teams.
And now it's like, wow, I think these guys are seriously, if they did beat Hong Kong Attitude for sure, like, man, that puts a real spanner in the works. Suddenly, like, the 3rd and 4th slots just, you don't even know what's going to happen there. Right now, though, that is the biggest sigh of relief for Hong Kong Attitude, who still now just managed to clinch on to that top 4 spot. It feels like they're now basically somewhat of a shoo-in for playoffs after that, and it was nearly not the case, just so close.
I mean, you'd certainly hope so, but of course, their toughest matches do still lie ahead of them. Having overcome Machi is something, but they've still got some really hard opponents like Detonator Korea still in this group, and you're not a shoo-in until you've at least had a reasonable performance. Look, even if it ends up being Detonator come in first, you come in second, that loss there can still throw things into jeopardy with how dangerous these other teams looking. I mean, we didn't even consider Machi to be one of the more dangerous teams of this group. With that now being proved wrong, you've got to say that increases the danger factor for them, but also of all these other teams as well, who could really threaten Hong Kong Attitude when they come to play them.
And who knows what happens now. When you look at both groups, A and B, B was that kind of wild group, anything can happen. Now I feel like A kind of is as well. Everything is up in the air, and that's what makes Contenders Pacific so exciting. Like, what even is happening anymore? We've had how many so many series just go to the 5th map. It's unbelievable. And now 2 in the same evening. The final map of, we actually played the maximum amount of maps possible. 3 on Nepal, 3 on Oasis, and then all the ones in between, including time banks on both Hanamura and Numbani. Like, this could not have been more drawn out, except if Junkertown went